Good evening. You're listening live to the Extreme Movie Show. I'm your host, Rom, broadcasting to you from sunny Central Florida here in the Extreme Studios, just west of Orlando, Florida. I have here on the line from the Great Midwest RDV joining me tonight, Season 1, Episode 8, our continuing coverage of Miami Vice, a.k.a. Miami Nights. This episode, RDV, the Great McCarthy, and I will say this. Last episode I thought, directed by David Soul, had some interesting angles and stuff. Starting to feel kind of relaxed. For me, I think you could look at this as one of two ways. I think this episode is a pretty standard formula, nondescript episode of Miami Vice. That being said, I think it encapsulates everything that is Miami Vice. And I think it's a very vibe kind of episode. I think
It's
it's excellent. It's certainly not one of my favorites and all that too, but there's something here that they captured atmosphere wise with the characters, the dialogue,
yes,
everything about it, and also the music, because this is one episode where we get lots of modern music, but by cover bands that are really fantastic in here too. Very simple, short to
yeah.
the point. Like this episode a lot. What's your initial take?
This is a beginning of many things for this series. Well, not the house bands. We already had the house bands that we're doing the bad guy. They're trying to find his Caldone's
Serena?
party. He had the
Cowboys.
house band,
Hmm.
Cabronor. So now we're gonna see a lot more of that. These house bands popping up in these episodes, doing cover songs. We get Self Control in here too, and a few others. Like pretty, and you can tell this is 1984. This is for me is a peak of like 80s music for me. But not only that, we get the debut of Tubbs theme in this episode. We also get the set the example where normally it's Sonny is the one that's getting into relationship with women who are involved with the crime,
Hmm.
and it ends badly. Now this is Tubbs' chance to go into this with Vanessa, and it's becoming like we're starting to see some more returning themes. We have the extravagant, basically over exaggerated parties they have here with the music, and just
Over.
alcohol. Yeah.
That's nothing.
No, I know. No, I'm just saying extravaganza. I'm just saying this is in this series, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the beginning of that. You're going to start seeing this more often. You're going to start
Oh,
seeing more.
absolutely.
You're
I
going to
see.
see a lot of girls in bikinis and stuff at parties, people drinking, having fun, and just having just like cigars, all this
Lot more
stuff. Yeah,
intergender violence.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So you're going to see like this, almost like the Andy Sequeiros kind of movie types, parties. And it was just really good about this. The music, and then we also get the introduction of Izzy Moreno in here too. Or Moreno's character is Izzy Moreno, who becomes a well-known informant, but also becomes like it's kind of like a joke itself. He's a scam artist, but he's the world's worst scam artist, and so it's always but he becomes a lovable character in this, so which I thought was actually like, and my first introduction to him, I wasn't sure what to think about him. It was better than the guy we had before. I think his name was Bugs or I can't remember what his name was.
The Noog Man or
Noog,
whatever.
yeah, because Noog,
Noogie.
yeah. So, but Noogie, but don't worry. Noogie comes back and he does meet Izzy, and they do team up
I
in an
know.
episode.
I know.
Yes. But yeah, I said you're getting like this cover band singing the hot hits of the 80s are there,
Some guys
and
have all the look, little Rod Stewart.
oh yeah, I was like, and here's the thing.
Laura Branigan. Oh, come on. You can't get better than that.
I was gonna say though, these guys aren't a bad cover band. I'm like,
They're
dude,
great. I don't know who
yeah,
they are, but they're fantastic.
like this is the wedding singer. Come on, bro. That's what I want.
God.
And but overall, like I said, the main part of this episode is just the boats. And we get a boat racing here too. We even get the introduction of Sonny's Stinger, which we'll see throughout the episode. This is the first boat race he's involved. He'll do some more in the later seasons. But also there's a scene here when they have the boat racing stuff. This was recopied in the Miami Vice movie they did.
Mm-hmm.
So which I still try to forget because they exist. But yeah. So and also we also get an example of Michael Mann's rule: no earth tone colors, but we couldn't help it because one of the participants who actually was racing this because it was a public race had a red speedboat, so they couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I think for the time capturing something like that in the way he
Yeah,
did it was pretty solid. I mean, I could care less for it. It served its purpose, but it was
yeah,
a fun
yeah,
watch and it was done well.
yeah.
When episode
Yeah.
starts, they're chasing down this guy, and turns out to be Izzy, and they capture him inside
Yeah.
a old bank, right? And I
Yeah.
got one of the teary eyes in me because
Dude,
it was Barnett Bank, which is the first bank I remember as a
yeah.
child here in
South
Florida that
Bank
I
of
think became
America.
Sun Bank, or Sun Bank turned into that. And I went, oh
Yeah.
my God, Barnett Bank! Haven't heard of them in decades.
Yeah. So they got bought out by Bank of America. Like Bank of America bought a lot of banks here too.
Yeah.
So it was like after they became just took over everything. The guy, of course, is Izzy, and his just facial expression right there captures his whole entire character throughout the series. The little mustache, the big giant oversized glasses, the Geppetto look, as I call it. He robbed the bank. They captured him, and basically how they found him, they're chasing him into this abandoned mall area. There's escalators, and he manages to hide from him only for a second until Sonny turns around and he notices that, hey, by the top of the elevator stand, the maintenance, they usually have the maintenance mark there. So he goes over there and bangs the door. They brings him out, and he sees the bank. He's like, hey, what's that? A bank. I was like, and he opens up. It's money. He's like, oh, and I love Izzy's like his first reaction. He's like, how dare you? I don't know what this is. Is some kind of trap? I've never seen that in my life. I swear. He's all covered in the red dye. So through him, they're working him, and he basically says, hey, I know this other guy, this Lou McCarthy, guy. He's smuggling things, I got to put with them, and stuff. And so Sonny and and Tubbs go to meet him up. And we get the first scare here of our shot of Lou McCarthy, or also played by the great William Gray FC.
Yeah, I thought he was extremely solid in this episode. I had no idea who he was.
Yeah.
For a second, I'm going, wait a minute.
Yeah,
He
William Snapper.
He reminds me of some other guys. There's one guy in it. I mean, that guy next to him is the accountant or whatever. But these guys look like actors that we would see much more of later. Like, to me, he looks like Eric Robarts.
Yeah, he does. Apparently, he was huge over on Another World, right? NBC. Mm-hmm. He did, and then he was before that. He did a couple episodes as William Snapper Foster on Young and the Restless.
Yeah,
but I said I love it. I would never watch him on that stuff, but you see him on this.
Very solid. I like his character.
He's kind of the rich, kind of smug kind of thing, and stuff. Tubbs basically says to him, he's like, they're watching because Lou is watching his boat race. He says, oh, that boat's not stuff. He's like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, it's all sluggish stuff, stuff. And then we get to see
I know, right?
Coming in, he's trying to have fun driving his boat. And they actually let him, I said, this is the true thing about this. They actually let
he's legit boat guy.
Yeah, let John Johnson drive this boat because and later on he would take this same model like this boat for boat racing. Mm-hmm. And then throughout the 80s and stuff. So he actually knew what he's doing behind the boat. So basically he shows up and he's supposed to be like, Richard Taylor, which is Tubbs' alias, his employee or chauffeur or whatever,
Bloom.
Yeah.
His handle. His tag.
Here's a zoomed out look of the boat, and he's pulling up the dock. And the way I love this, if you're watching this, how smooth he pulls up the dock and just kind of.
But that's
gets so close to the pier.
Let me emphasize that a little bit. Okay, so this is a very nondescript, not in your face episode, I think, right? Yeah. The idea here is that they're getting ready to bust Izzy. They're going to check out this guy because he's supposed to be moving a bunch of keys of coke. Keys mean kilograms, meaning 2.2 pounds approximately. For those that don't know, that's the drug slang down here in South Florida. And so they're going to have Ricardo basically, just act like a badass guy who's got a boy that races boats like Sonny here. Yeah. So they're undercover and they're having their I think it's escargot or whatever with the limes in their champagne. And Sonny pulls up in this. I'm like, this is such beautiful looking water. This is how it looks in Florida. Like I say, I love the way the show, it feels like you're there. And the way he pulls in, you go, okay, he's got a boat, goes fast. And here's the thing. I'm not a boat guy. I don't like the water. I'll be honest with you. It's not my bag. But he pulls up to it. But have you, look, if you do not know how to step into a canoe or a kayak, even if you're going on like a little small river or a spring in here, you're going to bust your ass and the gators are going to get you.
Sonny does this nonchalant.
And like, you know how hard that is if you don't know what you're
Yeah,
doing, if you haven't done any of these things.
And most people take about 3 or 4 tries to even do this. They get close without hitting the pier, and he gets so close where he's able to just swing the tail end over gently, and then Tubbs gets in, and they speed off, and
And this is in the Bay part too, because what they're trying to do is basically say they know he's got like this big race he's going to be racing in. So basically trying to figure out the way to get into the race, which goes to Bahamas, I think, and back or something. So this is in the Miami area where you have Star Island.
Stiltsville.
To where?
Stiltsville. That's usually where they race these things.
I'm talking in the episode. I thought they mentioned Bimini, like Bimini Bay.
Yeah. So Stiltsville which is pretty much Stillhouse is located in the Cape of Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, on the Sandy Banks, a safety valve on the edge of Biscayne Bay, like you're right, in Miami-Dade County.
That's why there's not a lot of wake. And it's also on the east side, which normally would. If you go into the Gulf of, wait for it, America, you have practically no waves.
Yeah. So basically, what's interesting about this, they call it Stiltsville because they basically in 1930s, tons of all these stilt shacks were built in Gay County. There's about dozens in the flats. It's early 1922, and then they would use it for doing crawfish or all these little pop up little restaurants too. Before and this, so they've been keeping with that kind of thing going theme in Florida. I'm surprised a lot of this stuff hasn't been wiped out, or at least I guess I'd say a lot of it's probably been rebuilt since hurricanes.
Yeah, it's what happens.
Yeah,
you get new building codes when a hurricane comes through. You have to rebuild.
Stiltsville, it sounds like something out of a video game you're playing. Stiltsville, it sounds weird, like a made up thing, but it's actually a thing. It's actually a little area in the Cape.
The interesting thing how they got to the setup was that they basically leaned on the information they got to go see his bookie his girlfriend is runs a high-end men's clothing shop, right?
They go to Gifford, and they go through his stuff. Gifford's already given him 4 of his basically employees before, or I guess his clients before they turned out well, and they want to know, why aren't you telling us about this guy here, and so they go through his books and they find out, what's this on here? Oh, that's this for his girlfriend, and she's getting $250K in that account.
And he's skimming to give to her.
Yeah. So they go to meet her, and immediately we get Tubbs themes playing here too. It's a little variant version of Hammers, what they do for Sonny's theme.
Yes.
And I was reading up about the scene here. So there was a goof where she takes them upstairs. They're gonna go walk upstairs and go look at some of the suits up there, and at first, you see him talking on the first landing, and then they pull it so where they pull his audio for him talking, but you still hear them walking up the steps. I didn't believe it until I went and watched it again, and I was like, oh my gosh, I never noticed the first time. Because a lot of times, a lot of times these episodes, they have music playing over, and you have people talking, but you don't hear them talking.
Yeah.
Which Miami Vice is famous for that. So, of course, these two are so infatuated that they end up doing, the dirty tango.
Oh, that's coming later. Well, the thing is the reason why I chose that particular shot is because I do appreciate how Sonny, he could be a burly or whatever, or sour, but he's back kind of just enjoying his buddy getting in, and he sees the attraction already. And that's one of those things that people don't kind of really talk about. And I think you said something significant when you mentioned how this show does a very good job of letting you just kind of watch the action unfold, where music's playing, you can tell what's going on. So they're saying and doing one thing, it's why, because they're an adult. And here it's all about sexual chemistry. I
love this because this is the second time where Tubbs has basically gotten involved with somebody who's involved with a criminal.
Yeah.
And also Sonny is so nonchalant in this episode. It's just funny.
You can step back and let the other guy shine.
Yeah, even back here in the before he sits down and the guy offers him a bourbon, Julio. He's like, yeah, I'll take a Julio, take a bourbon Julio. Anyway, and he's sitting there, and and Tubbs is like, how about we go out to dinner, or whatever. It's like, sure. It's like, and she's like, you can invite your chauffeur guy here. He's like, oh no. He's like looking over to Sonny. Sonny's like, no, I'd love to. It ends up being they get into the next morning for lunch, well, it's her and her boyfriend, Louis
Brunch,
McCarthy.
sir.
Yeah, brunch. Yeah.
That's important here in the South.
Yes. Yeah, brunch. Yes. A small little meal.
No, 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 no. A big meal so you don't have
Well, I'm
lunch.
just saying, every time I see someone have brunch, they don't eat anything. It's just there's all the food on the table, but nobody eats anything.
Well, one day you'll come to the South and have a real brunch.
I don't even eat lunch here. I have dinner. That's it.
Well, we would have lunch, dinner, and supper here in the South, in addition to brunch. That's how we roll.
Right.
Yeah, it moves pretty. Look,
It
it
does.
moves pretty quick. It's we see what's happening and all that too. He's busting his balls a little bit about not getting too deep and all that
Yeah,
stuff. He's not
exactly.
really too pissed or whatever. But I just thought it was interesting because at this point, we get this incredible house band playing Rod Stewart, and it's just there's this is Miami Vice. This vibe. If you're not feeling the episode at this point, I don't know what to say. I mean,
I love it. I love in this photo here you have he's hitting up the girl again, but she's actually been playing him a little bit, and Crockett's been watching this at the brunch thing, and I love his Tubbs' attire here too. He's got the not the Hawaiian, but the Florida shirt under a suit. That is a fashion statement.
I don't think it's his best outfit in this.
No, but I mean though, it's like.
Well, that was the thing. Bold prints definitely, kind of like a 70s kind of like leftover thing rolling into the 80s for sure.
The Tony Montana kind of look,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you wear the red, the white. He's wearing, but this Tubbs is wearing this.
Have you? Did you guys have up there in your part of America there in the upper Midwest? Did you guys have Banana Republic?
Yeah, we have Banana Republic, Tommy Hilfiger, American Eagle, all that stuff.
Because all that stuff came from like a safari thing, like from California, and made its way over here. So like that's when I look at that, I go, okay, that's like a tropical like type of thing that was kind of big.
And
in
what
the 80s.
She's wearing is something like you'd see in the late '60s,
Hers is fantastic. Those colors go great with her skin on her face. I mean that's and the earrings that this show is just such a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. Of course, we got the little pool party going on here.
But something happens at the pool party that's significant, sir.
John Deal, his character
before this scene.
Oh,
when they got the house band there, they see Izzy, and he's like, "Don't talk to me, don't talk to me." Then you hear a scream, and then it turns out the accountant.
Was that before? Okay. That's this in here.
Yeah, that's right there.
Yeah, because so basically they even had so that scene here wasn't from the house party. That was before. This was at the brunch.
This is brunch, and then
then they get the house party going on here.
Mm-hmm.
So I like this because this also captures Izzy, the way he dresses and stuff in here too. He is just a clown throughout the series, but people somehow take him seriously. Everyone, because I think
seriously though.
I said, well, look, lady he's with. She doesn't look like she's that too intelligent. Maybe but he's trying. We get a scene of him just trying to light his lighter, but it won't light. And she's kind of getting a little annoyed, but she's also like still into him. Like I don't understand it. It's
because you're at a party, you're chilling, you're vibing. And
exactly.
I'm interested in you, so let's see where it goes.
Yep. And of course, he wants to talk to
behind them.
Izzy as soon as he sees. We have the Tubbs and the girl are dancing. Vanessa are dancing stuff, but then Gifford shows up and says, "Hey, I need you to go. Come with me." And he's kind of arguing, kind of drags a bit, and then he's talking, and then the next thing you know, Izzy shows up and tells Crockett, "I need to talk." He's like, "I don't know you. I don't know you. You know me." And whatever. And Crockett just blows him off. I mean, we find Gifford who's found dead in the pool, and of course we have the McCarthy because somebody called the cops.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, we're wondering, like, did Gifford come clean and tell him that Sonny and Tubbs are actually cops and stuff? Did he blow their lead? We don't know yet. And then maybe that's why he got killed because he brought 2 cops with him and lied and stuff. I don't know, but we don't even know who killed them yet at this point.
Well, the thing with McCarthy up to this point that I like is that we have had different heavies that have done their own thing or whatever. To him, he just sounds like a sportsman who just happens to run drugs. Like he's not overbearing. He's not a wimp ass. He's
No.
sitting there watching like his girl and Ricardo kind of getting into each other. So it's
Yeah.
like, is this a weird kink thing? Is he just a manipulator and she
We
sets
don't
things
know.
up, whatever? And so he doesn't want to reveal himself and his business to them too early. So the whole idea is that in this race, if they can get in, that's great. And in the South, what you do is you don't just jump the business. It's like Japanese have their own style when
You
you do
know what it
business.
reminds you of? We watched Stone Cold with Bosworth, but Lance Henriksen.
Mm-hmm.
He gives a Lance Henriksen vibes in that movie. Kind of calm, quiet,
Yes.
reserved.
Yeah, that's good. That's an interesting
Yeah.
observation. I didn't make that leap, but that's the thing
No.
here. They go to play a high stakes pool
Poker.
game, and a guy could
Yeah.
shoot pool. And the funny thing about this, and this is the worst thing about the episode, he shoots a couple shots, and you can tell the guy knows how to handle a stick. At least that one shot. I mean, he nails it. And
Yeah.
he's sitting there like watching behind the curtains, watching all the stuff going on. The house band's playing Laura Branigan again. It's just really good stuff.
Mhm.
But then Sonny, he does this thing where it looks like he's sizing up the shot, and they show him like, hitting the stick, but not even make contact with the ball. Obviously, he probably can't play pool worth shit.
No,
Certainly not
probably
like
can't.
Tom Cruise.
So somebody comes in, you see the pool stick, and you don't see him at all. And then
Yeah, it's just
in.
horrible. But I mean, that's what
No,
you do.
but they play for like pretty much. Hey, can we play for like if I win, you allow us to be in the race.
Yes.
And so what was crazy about this is that there's a scene where we have Sonny and Tubbs are sneaking into his boat because they're trying to figure out. Okay, they figure he's smuggling drugs somehow. But even here's the thing: we get to see more, learn about that how advanced Sonny as a character is with boats. So it says like, well, dude, there's no way he could put it in there because it would drag the boat and he wouldn't be able to win any races.
Right.
And Tubbs is like, and he's kind of giving Tubbs kind of shit too. He's like, it's like, wait, you worried about your girlfriend, whatever? It's like your little dates, and he's like, it just So
I just call it like I see it, pal.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Pal.
So, but like I said, an interesting episode. Like I said, we even Vito gets a little thing in here too, where he gets to kind of flirt with the girl a little bit. She's not really into him. Cool. Yeah. But
she's the other lifeguard, and so everybody's walking around chilling at the pool. Man, going to the pool, you would sometimes just go to the beach just to go lay out by the pool, not even going to the beach, or you could do both or whatever. Well, I mean, man, that's just rampant all the time back in the day.
This is interesting too because she's wearing heels because she's like on a concrete thing, or like that. Instead of being out on the beach in the sand, they wouldn't wear heels.
Well, if it's hot enough, they'd wear sandals for sure. I'm telling you, down here,
yeah, sure. But you wouldn't be wearing heels out on the actual sand, the beach, So that's why. So this is more of an indoor resort pool versus where the beach is on the other side of that wall, probably.
All I'm going to say is, she epitomizes what spring break down here always was.
I'm trying to think of the sand lawn where the kid fakes, the fakes drowning. This kid's gonna get kissed, yeah. But I love the fact that Zito, even there, he's wearing his shorts and flip flops. He's still wearing that little like fedora hat, or not fedora, but golf hat.
Yeah, this is just to show that he's still a character because basically the whole idea was they don't really have money to front, so he wants them to see the ladies who are busting a college professor on turn like a Kia Coke trying to sell it to get his money. It's just bullshit writing for the episode, but just to show you that the characters are there, and that's what they're doing here with was it Switek or whatever like that behind the bar with one or two lines or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. It is what it is. Let's do this for 2 minutes and just speed up the episode is what they're doing.
So then we get we get the actual boat race. Now, this is where they're wearing
before the boat race, though.
What's up?
That's where Ricardo's like, hey, wait a minute, we got to hurry things up. I got a hot date.
Yeah.
So they go, and I think I sent you one of those snapshots, and I think that's them making sweet, sweet love. And just look at the way it's framed.
Oh, that was that thing.
Right here. And they spent a few minutes on them watching them just kind of go at it, relaxing it, and just all that. So this is one of porn was changing, I think, in the 80s going into the 90s for sure. But the idea was that because film was expensive and all that, you shot it more like a movie and put dialogue and stuff in it, whereas now it's not. And I think they took that erotic kind of thing to put it in here. I mean,
this is them paying tribute to Octopussy.
I was going to say you're 100% right. This reminds me of
like a
Roger Moore, because there was the exactly, or this could be the end of
the Gaudi leaves things behind them, so it looks like they're in some kind of like base, secret base or something like that, or something. It's just
That's my octopus thing.
so yeah,
No,
that was
I was thinking James Bond here too. I just was.
yeah. So of course, going back to we're gonna have the boat race now. So there's a 3-man for each boat. So they bring in Zito is brought in. I love Zito's just wearing he's still wearing his wife beater shirt under the rain jacket. Yeah,
when they went to do the race, which is the third act.
Yeah.
Did you notice how McCarthy made his entrance? It comes out, he's got the helmet on, he raises his fist, his gloves on it, walks in. That is key, ladies and gentlemen, to what's about to happen.
They're also playing "Get Your Motor Ready" by Steppenwolf. You know, Born to Be Wild.
And they play it for the whole race.
Yeah, you do.
You know, it's like 34 minutes long race at least.
Yes. Yeah. So plus we get there 16 the close up of the stinger of Crockett's boat. There's a little dashboard control board right there. That was really cool, you know. And then everything, port stabilizer, and just
dials, knobs, analogs. I love it. No digital.
Yep.
Smell the diesel.
Yeah, of course, because Crockett's boat is the fastest, or at least not yet. In the front there, we got McCarthy's boat with the henchmen wearing the black outfits.
The Goon Squad.
And, everyone's wondering, like, well, how the heck are they, like, winning, or at least smuggling stuff? Because McCarthy always wins the boat races. So it turns out there's a second boat with a second team like his.
They swap places behind a key. A key is a short term for island or a small little bit of land with trees on it down here.
But man, you gotta have a solid stomach to be doing these boat races because you're going up, down, because you're jumping waves and then landing, jumping waves and landing. I'm like, ugh.
If you don't know what you're doing, it'll flip. Like if you're on a jet.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. But even that, I'm just saying, motion sickness is watching this race. You know,
I think this was filmed so good, and like the scene you mentioned earlier when we first see Sonny bringing the boat up. You look at that and you're like, okay, he's bringing the boat up. They tied on the dock, like whatever. But again, if you haven't done anything with that, the skill that it takes to do that, and here I'm picturing, okay, they've got a camera mounted system. You could tell they're speeding along to it, so they must have another boat, or maybe they have a really long track or something. But to film this back at the time, it'd be easier to do it now, but they do a lot of cuts and drone shots. It just wouldn't feel like here, the shot that you've got looking at the three here. Yep. That camera's mounted on the boat, so it captures. I mean, it's there. It's capturing the background. It's capturing the bouncing, the waves behind it. That's what it looks like when you're on the water.
The goggles, the helmets. I'm pretty sure the helmets are all different now. I mean, this 80s. I mean, the evolution of the racing helmets and stuff.
Just remember, if you're traveling whatever speed, if a stationary object hits you, it's like you're hitting it at that speed. It's a relative thing.
Well, here's the thing too. It's like
you hit like a small pebble. It's gonna mesh.
Well, they're wearing a helmet. The problem is, if you fall that boat, your back's broken. You're dead. You know,
certainly,
there's nothing.
Out, hitting the water for sure.
Even with the helmet on, your neck's broken. No, how fast they're going. So of course we get another shot of the action here. Now here's more.
That's the port of Miami.
Yeah.
To the left, that's not Star Island, but that's heading out towards there where all the rich people live and all too. So this is they're turning to going east between all that too. That's where like Canaveral is in the Miami Sea Aquarium, and to the right is where you would take the road to go off to the
during this
Miami Park there, Biscayne
during this they already been snitched on. Someone told them that they actually are cops. So they're trying to do not only that, to take them out too as well. But at the end of the race, because after Crockett and them won, or no, actually no, they didn't. No, Crockett then they stopped because they wanted to. I think they lost the race on purpose. Can't remember.
No, they won it, I believe. So the thing is, when they did the switcheroo and they turned on to go into port, they won and everybody clapped, and he was being a gentleman because he was acting like he lost. He was being a rabid sportsman. But that's when they pull up because they had the cop boats on there too.
Yep.
And then he was just kind of like, all right, you guys got me.
Here's the thing about this. So still maintain that the Sonny and Richard were not cops under Lewis's eyes because the cops arrested McCarthy and all them, but didn't go after Tubbs, and Tubbs kind of just sat there in the back, you know. Basically their reputation, Sonny's reputation, means that he's a smart, you know, he's a smart guy and avoid getting arrested.
Well, it keeps
So
their cover because
yeah,
the actual end of this episode, there's one more little piece of information or detail that we found out because at night when he's messing around with Gina on the boat before the race,
yeah,
Izzy comes up and says, "Hey man, I've got something you need," and he gives him the gun that killed it, and it's going to match up, and it turns out it's hers.
yep,
So she's the one that whacked the guy that was stealing
yep,
$4. She's really the bad one here, even though he's bad too. At least he was honorable, and she wasn't. And so it's, oh my God, is he gonna die there?
yeah,
Does she know or whatever? And then they show up there. It's like, yeah, it's got the matchup. And he's like,
yeah,
don't worry, I'll take care of it. You know, because he's such a
yeah.
smart ass. And she
So
says, you can't. And he's like, I can, and I will. You know, just the way Tubbs talks is really funny in this episode.
yes, it also marks the very last scene in the series where Gina and Sonny have a relationship. It's never mentioned again, or as far as why they broke up, you know, but you know, students know that in a later episode in the season, like, you know, they're not in a relationship whatsoever, not romantically interested or whatever.
Right.
Even though they still they're still good friends, but whatever reason, I guess it was off panel. They decided, well, you know what? Let's probably let's do them without being in a relationship, and this because it opens Sonny to do more stuff. Because they later on would meet, just like Tubbs, meet another woman in New York. This is where you get the "You Belong to the City" by Glenn Frey.
Yep.
Plays, you know, and Glenn Frey basically kind of parted away from the Eagles and was writing songs for Miami Vice.
Yeah.
So
a lot of big bands breaking up in the early 80s.
Yep. Yeah, but he said this was not a filler episode. This was actually a pretty good episode. I liked it. I thought it was actually done pretty well. He said these shows are available to watch. All 5 seasons are available on Tubi TV right now, free, with ads.
And the music.
Yeah, and exactly. There's all the music that was in the original show is in this. They didn't replace it with any other stuff because of any lawsuits or whatever.
Right.
You know, plus if you want to watch it on Tubi, I recommend you watch it on not on your TV, but watch it through your PC, a nice monitor or whatever. And you can use an ad blocker. You can skip the ads, so you don't have to worry about the ads popping up in the middle of the episode 2 or 3 times. But fantastic series so far. Like I said, this starts all the themes you're gonna have currently going for the first 2 seasons positively, like, you know, where the 3rd season kind of switches and goes more into like a more serious, you know, more adult and depressing, and you know, where the series starts to flounder a little bit. But no, I said this was a good episode. This is a boat race. We get to see more of Sonny being more nonchalant, which was actually a really good highlight of this episode. Letting Tubbs kind of breathe, but also reminding Tubbs, hey, you know, I mean, as an outsider, I've been there before, you know, and this would be a occurrence, you know, between the both of them. Sonny would get involved with somebody, and Tubbs would do the same thing to him too. I just like the fact that they are able to let each character have their own moments and shine, and actually not just kind of like, well, we're an extra and that's all you are. You don't get a chance to shine whatsoever. Zeno and Switek get a chance. Even Gina and I forgot what the other girl's name is. That's with Trudy. Even get their own episodes in this as the series goes on, and it's just fantastic. Like I said, the music is. Even like I said, I'm watching in the middle. I'm towards the end, or at least the middle towards the end of season 3. In spite it being more serious, you're still getting good music in here, though. But I'd say like this: if you were looking for just a fun show that captures what the 80s was, this is the show.
And here's the thing about this episode that I'll say about it, and it's not about the actual like acting or the vibe that you feel in, although those are dumb. If you were not watching Miami Vice and this episode came on and you go, wow, 5 seasons of Miami Vice, and you watch the show, you go, okay, this could be season 3, 4, or 5. Like it feels very comfortable, like it's finally blossomed and knows what it is. You know, it's like it's gone through puberty really, really quick, and now it's like a young adult or a young person. You know, it just really I'm impressed over the past couple episodes how they had some strong foundations. They tweaked a few things. Maybe like you said, the Gina thing. They're they won't do anything more. We'll write that. So there'll be a little bit more tweaking. But now
Yep.
everything about it, the relationship's very comfortable. They don't feel like they're very new. We've got the new boss of theirs who doesn't really have a lot to say here, but he talks quietly still. And it feels like it feels like we've seen 20 episodes already, and this is just a standard episode. But it's not. It's only like episode 7, 8, depending on how you order it. And I'm like, wow, it's very comfortable, very relaxing in that way. It's I don't have to sit there and wonder, okay, are they going to try and do something radically different now or what? Now going to the next episode, which is going to be a kind of a fun, lighthearted one, I think, but still a really good one too. I'll be looking forward to covering for you that next week here. I mean, Miami Nights.
So this guy, the guy who directed it, George Stafford Brown, I was looking up him right now, and it says pretty much he started in a movie called How to Steal a Million in 1966, and then he also got roles in the comedians Bullet, Stir Crazy, House Party 2, and he also is in a movie called Imps, but he also was on Dragnet.
Yep.
And then Here Comes the Bride with David Soul, The Bold Ones, Mannix, Room 222, Mission Impossible, and then directed by Paul Kanzi. But he before getting his starring role as LAPD officer Terry Webster in the police drama Rookies, lasted 4 seasons, and also did a crossover with SWAT. And so also worked on Police Squad. Wow. And Cagney and Lancy. So it's like I'm noticing you're getting a lot of 70s kind of like with David Stoller was directing the last episode. So you're getting a lot of
70s heavyweights that are making 80s television for sure.
And they're starting, instead of being in front of the camera, they're taking their chance and doing directing now. So and plus this is the hot show. So I figure this would be the best way to get me out, and just direct an episode of Miami Vice.
Yeah.
And dude, why not get your name in there? Because it's not uncommon. Like even in the popular show we had Supernatural, it just ended a couple of years ago. You had Jensen Ackles and a few other ones were taking their turns directing and stuff. So
yeah, I agree with you, and I think the observation of the 70s playing in the 80s is interesting. I don't know how strong we would say 80s to 90s, but when we start covering more 90s shows at some point, I'm sure we'll be taking a look at it. Yeah, really, really good stuff tonight with this episode, guys.
I won't be surprised if John Johnson starts directing some of the episodes too, because it usually happens. The main star will direct episodes that he's in, but usually it's like that like it would be perfect. Like this episode here, this would be a perfect example as far as or you'd have Sonny character John Johnson would direct this episode because it's focus more on Tubbs and not him. So I don't know. Like I said, this was a fun episode. Is also known as I can't see because the thing blocked. Time thing. I'm looking at Marania's singing Hami here. I know this Tyne Daly's husband was
Tyne Daly. Yes, for a long time.
They divorced in 1990.
Yep.
They were married for like 3 years or 4 years.
Oh, longer. No, like 30, almost 20 something.
Wait, yeah, right. 690. I read that as 86. My bad.
All right, so Tuesday, what do we have coming up?
On Tuesday, no idea. Unless we're doing the last Kumite.
Cynthia Rothrock.
Yes. Still a gilf.
Oh my goodness.
She is. Mero.
No. One of the best female martial artists of no time. I mean, it's inarguable. People love Michelle Yao and some others all they want, Amy Johnson alike, but she's one of the OGs to it. So she'd kind of do a little bit more of her own 80s to 90s. And Last Kumite is kind of like the version she gets involved in too. So be interested to take a look at that. I have actually no recollection of seeing it. If I have RDV, so it'll be a first watch for me probably. So until then, ladies,
probably is a first watch because I didn't know it existed, until about a couple of weeks ago.
Well, then of course that means Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern live. We're going to be continuing our season 2 coverage of Forever Night. We're on season 2, episode 3, I believe it is. There, so the young 20-something Professor Pix and I will be taking a look at that. So until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, listening. Thanks to you for retweeting, sending the links out, getting people over here watching and chatting, picking up some more subs lately. It's always good to see. Enjoy that. RDV, thank you for setting up tonight here and all that, ladies and gentlemen. Good night now.
Yep. Leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought of this episode, and we'll see you on Wednesday or Tuesday. Sorry. It's a slow day for me. It's Sunday. I've been relaxing. I've been nonchalant like Sonny all day.
Well, that's obviously when you make sweet, sweet love in the afternoon.
Auxiliary afternoon delight, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, guys and girls and everyone else that watches the channel.